Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how
He's alive!
Welcome to where the weird ones are.
Every time I speak, I want the truth to come out.
Powerful figures in Hollywood as well as powerful politicians who are in fact not human. They're reptiles or they're lizards or perhaps extraterrestrials.
I don't think it is a human. I think it's a Sasquatch.
Go ahead and run. Run home and cry to mama.
Let's get weird.
What's up, you fucking weirdos? Welcome to another episode of Where the Weird Ones Are. My name is Kevin, but you probably already knew that, and if you didn't, now you do. Today's episode is with Sir Bryan Bowden. If you missed his first appearance, it's a few episodes back. Go check that out. He talks about a full night of high strangeness, um, Bigfoot, psychics, spirits. Yeah, it was a fun conversation. He's a fun dude. I'll tell you that. He's a lot of fun to talk to, and I really enjoyed this conversation. We talk about remote viewing, um, and his psychic abilities, and it got pretty interesting. Maybe I'm not saying I do. I feel like maybe there was some layups there, but maybe I have a little bit of something. I don't know. I had to get. He had me guessing cards. What were behind? What was picture on some cards and stuff. So it was interesting. I really hope you guys enjoy this conversation. So Brian's gonna come back on, and we're thinking we're gonna do like a remote viewing workshop kind of thing, where he's gonna do the thing that he does with me in today's episode with the cards, but we're gonna invite all of you to like a live um, recording. Maybe just for Patreon, or maybe just to do the whole episode live. I don't even know, or maybe not even do it as an episode. Just do it like a as a thing for on YouTube live or something like that. So if that sounds something that you're down for, so what we would do is how we would set up is Brian would have the cards. He'd give everybody some time, and you just kind of like write down on paper what you think, like what the things that you're feeling, from what's behind the card, and then, um, and then we'll go from there. Either you can come on video, I guess, or just see, or you could just sit there and watch and see if you were close to what was behind what's behind the card. You know, I think it'd be fun. So yeah, if you guys are interested in that, please um, comment on the video on YouTube if you're interested in that, or you can write it on the website, or you can write it in a review, or you can email me and say, "Yo, that sounds like a good idea. I'm down for that," just so I can get a gauge of if people are actually interested in that. So, but anyway, shout out to the sponsor, Flavors of the Forest. They're amazing dudes. I love them to death. I'm so happy to be partnering with them um, for this. So again, it's freaking Bigfoot's breath, bro. It's raw garlic dust. Can't go wrong. Extremely potent. Way better than anything that you're gonna get at the store. I promise you. Any garlic powders that you're getting at the store, the organics and all this shit, It does not match up to this shit. Okay. So head on over to flavorsforest.com/weird. Get yourself like 10 cases. Okay. Because it's amazing. I love it. I put it on everything, as I'm sure you're well aware at this point. I definitely love it on my scramby eggs, you know. I get like I y- I scramble up some eggs, have some bacon, some sausage, and sprinkle a little bit of cheese. Dude, it hits, man. It hits. Sometimes I put my hot sauce on it, which the garlic is in the hot sauce. It's especially the lemon. The lemon is where you taste it the most, I feel like, because you get that kick of lemon and then you start getting the spicy, but you can kind of like taste the garlic and vinegar together, and then it's hot. I don't know. But you're missing out if you're not getting it. Fucking because it is so good. They also have ginger, and they have lion's mane, and they have a spicy garlic dust. So, bro, I promise you. I promise you. You're missing out if you're not getting this shit. So, what else do I got to say? I still don't remember the town for the West Virginia event. Um, so I'm gonna have to in the next week's episode, I'll put it there. I know it's in West Virginia, and it's Cryptid Halloween 3, so you could probably find it if you look. But Dave from Snarly Yow, he's the one putting it on. It's his third event, Cryptid Halloween 3. But I guess he does a lot of events, so the Cryptid Halloween isn't the only ones that he does. So I mean, he's well versed on putting uh, events together. But Jenny and Oren are going to be there, which I'm super excited about. Shane from Inquiries of Our Reality is going to be there. I'm not sure who else is going. I have to look at the vendor list again, but and the speakers. I don't know. I don't even know if the speaker list has been put out, but I'm going to be speaking. So talk about some main cryptids, maybe talk about my experiences and shit. Possibly, who knows? But oh shit. I just that was funky. Anyways, if you're in the area of West Virginia, would love to hang out with you. We should shoot the shit, grab some beers. I'll have my hot sauce. I'll be selling because I'll be vending too, so I'll be selling that shit. So, the hot sauce is doing great. It does a lot better at conventions. I'll tell you that. Online sales aren't doing so hot, but I enjoy making them, and so far I've gotten positive feedback from everybody who's tried it. So, if you like hot sauce, definitely, I'd love it if you check it out and gave it a rating. Um, or made like you make a video or something, be like, hey man, this shit's good, or hey man, this shit sucks. Either way, totally fine. You know, everything's subjective. Everything's up for opinion and debate. So, you know, it's not gonna hurt my feelings if you don't like it. You don't like it. Not everybody likes everything. So, um, I got some big news. I got some big news. Um, I just started a coffee company. I wasn't expecting it to happen until like officially until this weekend. So, um, but it's already in the merch store. I'm also trying to get into the supplement game, but we'll see about that. I currently have a sleep supplement up on the merch store. Just workshopping that. So, if you're high anxiety and stressed out, definitely it'll definitely help out. I know you can easily just walk down to the store and get melatonin and shit, but you know, I don't know. It's good. It's the only thing that I will say about it is that it does have sugar in it. They're sleep well gummies. They're sleep gummies. Um, and they have so it's melatonin and shit. I can't remember what else is in it. I'll have to look at the label again. But just don't use it all the time. Like I want people to buy it, and there's 30 servings, so there's enough for every day of the month. So you could technically, if I tell you you should get it if you're having a hard time sleeping, and and buy a bottle every month, but you don't want to get like too used to taking sleep aids. You know what I mean? It's not good for you. So you wanna, like it's like pre-workout. Like, I'm gonna say the same thing if because I'm trying to do is have pre-workouts, some collagens, some break chain amino acids, and maybe even protein powders and shit. Like, that's where I'm trying to go with it with everything. So, like, and I'll be honest about, the stuff that I'm putting out. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say it's the best or anything like that, but, it's just like pre-workout when for sleep aids. You don't wanna consistently take it, so when you're it's like you wanna put it on a cycle, you know what I mean? Because pre-workouts fucking it jacks your heart, man, and so if you're w constantly going to the gym and you're taking pre-workout every single time you go to the gym, you're you're fucking up your heart every time. So you gotta cycle so you do, like, 1 jar, right? You do that, you cycle through. Obviously, you need a rest day, maybe even 2 for some people. Some people like to have 2. I prefer no rest days, to be honest with you, but I also don't take pre-workout every time. When I know that I'm gonna be lifting heavy and it's gonna be an intense workout, I will do, a pre-workout. But um, I'm not even selling pre-workout, and I'm sitting here talking about pre-workout, but you just wanna take it, and then you wanna not take it. You wanna go for a period of time of not taking it. So it's the same with the sleep aid. So maybe take it like 2 or 3 days, and then take a couple days off of not taking it. And then, you don't wanna fuck up your natural melatonin that your body gives you. That's all I'm saying. And I said a lot of things just to say that. But I am so I just, future reference, I am trying to get into the supplement bandwagon, trying to have my own line of that. But my news is I started a coffee company, okay? And it's in the merch shop as well with the supplements, and it dropped the other day. Um it's called Weird Java, a coffee company. So right now I have a dark roast and 2 medium roasts. The dark roast is called Wake the Dead, one of the medium roasts. I have to get the list out of what like the flavors for them are, but one of them is Sasquatch Cafe, and I know the Sasquatch Cafe has like maple syrup taste to it. And then the other one is Professional Ghost. So Professional Ghost, Sasquatch Cafe, and Wake the Dead. Wake the Dead, I believe, has chocolate, if I remember correctly. Has a chocolate flavor with other things. But it's a third party company with putting my brand name on it. So I get a percentage of the sales. So if you go to my merch shop, you can, get yourself a pouch, and it'll support me, and I'd appreciate it. I'd rather push stuff like this rather than the Patreon, um, just because you're getting something out of the Patreon too, but, like, I don't know, I feel more comfortable with selling you something. But the Patreon is also there if you wanna support that. Um, It's $5 a month. You get a free coffee mug, you get access to story time, and, that's pretty much it. You get early access to the show too. So, you get early access to the show. Oh, Also, before I forget, Veronica, I really fucking appreciate you so much. Thank you for buying a t-shirt. That means so much to me. I was gonna message you, but I figured I'd just do it on here. And if you don't mind, you don't have to, obviously. You absolutely don't have to. If you wanted to email me a picture of you wearing said shirt so that I can put it on the website, I will definitely do that. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. It's just a suggestion for me. I like to have pictures of people wearing the merch. So obviously, if you've been on the website, you already know that. So website where the weird ones are podcast.com. You can get coffee, you can get the sleep aid, you can get the regular merch that I have, coffee cups and t-shirts and shit. The Ghost Girl, I have Ghost Girl crop tops and t-shirts. Um, those are new, and I have a new Down the Rabbit Hole shirt. So check them out. Check them out. Check them out. So if you don't mind, leave a rating, review on any podcast, whatever. Well, I think only Apple. But if your catcher doesn't let you leave a review, I definitely enjoy one over on the website. That again is where the weird ones are. Podcast.com. Um, yeah, so just know that I appreciate all of you for being here. It means the world to me. Never thought that I would be starting my own businesses my two loves, my two passions is coffee, beer, and fucking hot sauce. So like, and working out, obviously, as if you've been here for a while listening to every episode, I love going to the gym. So getting into the supplement game, it will be amazing for me. It'd be a lifelong dream. Well, not a lifelong dream. It's only been a dream for a little while because I've had aspirations to get into supplements. I just didn't know how to go about it. And now that I'm breaking into this shit, it's a lot of fun. It's really cool. I never thought I'd be here, but it's all thanks to the podcast. Really, the podcast has done amazing things for me, my self esteem. Um, and just and from what I hear, it helps other people out. Just from talking about mental health and allowing people to tell their stories, their testimonies. Yeah, man, it's been amazing, and I apologize for such a long intro again, but it is what it is. you know, um, I also love conspiracies, so I definitely love getting into those, no matter how off crazy it might be, But the political water is really hot right now, I don't. There's, everybody wants to be tribal. If you're not, if you're not with them, you must be with us. Or if you're not with us, you must be with them. Like, no, I don't. I want to be on my piece of property and fuck everybody else, fuck the government, man. That's where I'm at. But sorry, that was kind of fucking random to be honest with you. So, all right. But yeah, this episode was amazing. I fucking dude, I really enjoyed it. Brian's amazing. He's an awesome dude to talk to. If you guys ever have like the chance to be in a situation to have a conversation with him, I highly recommend it. So, without further ado, let's get into it with Brian, shall we?
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Let's get weird. Let's get weird. Let's get weird. Let's get weird. Weird. Get weird.
Hello, we are Rachel and Heather, the hosts of Like Mother, Like Murder podcast.
And you're listening to Kevin on Where the Weird Ones Are.
Oh.
If I tell you, if I give you a stoplight, a stoplight, can you see it in your head, what they look like?
Yes.
Okay. If I said the number 42, can you see it in your head?
I can.
Okay. If I said a red and green black Scotch pattern, like a pattern, like a Scotch, like a kilt, you can probably see it, right?
Yeah.
Instead of basketball, can you see what a basketball? You know exactly what it looks like, right?
Absolutely.
Just like you know your own name.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it is for me. It's as if I've known it my entire life. Okay. And sometimes I can go deeper in it, and I do it. I do I'm not a big meditator, all these people are like, you need to have guided meditation. I'm like, I don't need to be told what to do. Don't tell me what to do. I don't like it. And I don't like guided meditation. Now we're going to close our eyes. Shut the fuck up. It's like, shut up. I don't want to be told what to do. But
I feel like I need guided.
Well, some people would.
meditation.
But once you get to a certain point where you need, where you want to be, you don't want that anymore. It's like, stop talking. I'm almost there. Stop talking. It's the equivalent of cock blocking. It's just like, no, it's like, it's crazy. But so I will sit there and I will focus. It works better for me a lot more. It used to when I was tired, because then you're not, energized, too much caffeine and, scattered. And I'll go in there and I'll pick, like if someone says, great example. I had a guy that I was doing a show with, and the Three Beards, when the Three Beards were still going, they're not anymore. And one of the guys there was like, Chris is like, dude, you can remote view, right? And I'm like, yeah. It was when my wife lost two of my sunglasses that I really liked, and and I don't know if she told me. I said, can you remote view it? I said, sure. So after the show, I sat and I saw it, and I'm like, and I described everything. I'm like, it's in your garage. It fell down. It's going to be near this thing, which looked like the back of a seat, like a go-kart type of thing. And it's really weird, but I had a pattern of, like a scallopy pattern of, like on a cooler, like a blue, I have a blue, cooler you get in like Rite Aid or Walgreens, and it has this little blue, columns that out of the plastic. And I said, it's going to be like near there, but it's going to be behind it. Fell behind it, and look underneath. It's around there. And I said, the other ones, one of them's there, maybe both, but I do feel that the other ones flew off the dashboard on a turn. Right. So I told him that, and I told him it was like it's like bluish and what have you. So he's like, dude, I don't have a go-kart, and I don't have a bike or a seat. I said, if there's a seat there, I'm telling you, it's where it is in his garage. So he was adamant about it. Like, no. 3 months later, he's like, dude, you were right. I'm like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Where my sunglasses were. I said, they were? And he goes, yeah, exactly where you said it. They were in my garage, and I do have this other seat type of thing that was on an old thing for my kids, like a big wheel or whatever. And it fell behind there and underneath. And he said exactly where it was. And I said, well, what about the other one? Were both of them there? He goes, no. My wife told me they flew out the window while she was driving. She didn't want to tell me. And I'm like, okay. So I was right? Yeah. And I'm not trying to be, if you believe me, you believe me. If you don't, you don't. It makes no difference to me. I give information. I disseminate information. Sometimes I need you to do some research on it, because I can't tell you everything in life. But I don't care about your feelings, or if you care, or I won't do this, or I don't give a damn. If I say X, Y, and Z is going to happen, X, Y, and Z is going to happen. Yeah, and I'm not doing a pat on my back, but probably about a 98% accuracy when I go do what I do.
Okay.
Another.
I wish I could do it.
You can do it. We can go through that. I don't know where those other cards are. We can get that going on.
Okay.
And we can. I'll tell you what. Since you do have some video in the show, I'm saying, we can kind of play with that. And I can go look over there to the left and see if I have the cards. I have these psychic cards, and I do a great demonstration of how to remote view, which is part of the psychic, ability. It's part of the abilities. That's where psychicness comes from, and it all works in the same principle. So I held the card up, and let me see if I can do it with these, because this might work too. But this may be all words. That's the problem. And that won't work. I need like a graphic or something like that. But what I used to do is I used to take, actually this would work. Okay. We're going to try this right now. What we're going to do is, how we would remote view is the following. You take out a piece of paper and a pen, and you would be given a target ID. It's meaningless. Usually it's generated by a number generator, and it would be a specific target or location or whatever it is. And they'd say, focus on this. And you sit there, and it's really weird. You'd be like, how am I going to know something? Your consciousness is tapping into the universe. Okay. So, and then what you can do is you can dot down, you can write down things. You can do circles. You just draw. Like, I'm seeing these crazy lines in this hatch pattern, or dots, or something swirly, or colors. Do not overthink it. Just write down what you're seeing and what you're feeling, and you close your eyes. So we can do this right now. It's really, really simple. I'm going to give you a minute. I'm going to hold up something. You can't see through this, can you?
No.
Okay. I'm going to hold up. There is an object or something on this back of this card. I just picked it up. Okay. And think, if you need to close your eyes for a minute, close your eyes for a minute. And this is good. So anybody playing at home, you could write this up and then send in what you're thinking it is. Before I reveal it, by the way, because that's a real dicky move. But we'll do a couple of these, and it works fine. And there may be words, there may be images, there may be a scene, there may be a feeling, whatever it is. Just close your, concentrate. What do you think it is? And if you're seeing things, you can just spit it out, because you don't have to write it all down. But it helps if you had a piece of paper. And we'll just do this for a few moments.
I just keep. For some reason, I keep getting a cube, a square of something.
A cube or a square. And is there colors to the cube or shape? Cube or a square, huh?
No, I'm seeing like a 3D cube in my mind.
It's a three-dimensional cube. Okay, keep going. Anything else that goes with it? I'm looking at it, so.
Right.
3D cube.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, the minute you held up that card, I was like, a 3D cube. That's the only thing
it's kind of interesting, right?
That came into my head. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
We can reveal.
You didn't even tell me that. That's what you wanted me to do.
I'm not going to tell you. I'm just going to reveal it, and we'll discuss.
Okay.
Makes life easier.
Yes.
Is there anything other than the cube? Colors? Do you get smells, tastes?
I get
sounds.
For some reason, I get trees too.
Trees.
Maybe the smell of like pine cones or something.
Okay. This is interesting. And we'll stop now, and I'm going to turn it. Now, whatever it is, even if you're spot on or you're off or you think you're off, don't be discouraged, because we'll do two more after this, and I don't know what order this stuff is.
Okay.
It's a watch.
Watch.
But What is the cube in math and science? It's really important. It's really interesting, but it's on a top level. Time. Space, time. Dimension, the third dimension.
Yes.
Is time.
Yes.
Okay, and that would be cubed. It's you may like oh man, a bit off on this whole thing, and you'd be like, believe it or not, what you just said does relate to this. Now, you didn't see the whole thing, but I'm going to pick two more. They're right here. I'm not even going to just take the next two on this. We'll do it again. Now that you understand this concept. By the way, you can do this with your kids at home. You could do it on road trips, like with your sons and daughters. You know, I do it with my daughters. I'm like, I'm thinking of a color, and they go, seafoam green. I'm like, no, it's the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. We're going to stick to Roy G. Biv. Oh, okay. So no Bert Sienna? No Bert Sienna.
No
right?
soft pinks.
No. Floral, carbon, right? So, but you can do this with them. You can do, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 50. Right? And you could, trust me, you'll find it if your significant other, the mother is with you as well, have her do it and see what the connection is. Once you're going to start connecting. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's a great way to pass time while you're in the car instead of, we there yet? You know, go back to your TikTok. So I'm holding up another one. Let's try it again.
All right.
And you can, we're going to focus in whatever comes to your mind's eye. Don't overthink it. Just spit it out. You can even spit it out right now. We'll do it for like a 30-second window.
Daisy White.
Daisy White.
You
have any feelings?
Pattern. Happy.
Sure. Is there a smell or a touch or a feel?
I'm not getting a smell.
Okay.
Coarse.
That's what
kind of like feeling coarse.
Coarse?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give you another 10 seconds and then we'll flip it for everybody and they could play.
I feel like there's a circle of some kind.
Okay. Getting better. Ready?
Awesome. Yeah.
All right. Pens down, everybody. It won't be on the final. Coarse. Look at the bumps. Look at the white. You said daisy. That would be, it's a flower type of thing. This mushrooms do flower. It's not a stretch, believe it or not. The more you do this, the better you're going to get at it. Okay.
Interesting.
And you didn't get the toxic or whatever, but you said happy. But what happens if you take magic mushrooms?
You're fucking happy. That's
You're
for
real
sure.
happy. So, and I believe that may be one of them, if I'm correct. I don't know the full species. I don't. Right. So you're getting closer. So now you're in the, you're zoning. But if you did this and you meditated and you got, for 15 minutes prior to me having a series of them to go one right after the other, and you were jotting down things, you may have drawn circles, a bunch of circles, and your drawing will reflect in some of the things that maybe in that one or in the totality. Okay. I have one more here, and then
all right.
Breathe. Feel it flow with you. I won't do that.
Modern. It's an object.
Okay.
Like a recent technology is it just keeps what I'm keep hearing in my head is modern.
Modern. Is there any you smell anything to it? Metallic?
Mm.
You taste anything or touch anything?
No taste. Maybe iron.
Iron?
Yeah. Maybe the taste
So
of
a
iron.
mineral? Minerally?
A mineral. Yeah.
Do you see any like geometric shapes or
I'm not getting any shapes. I keep seeing a sidewalk though for some reason.
okay. A sidewalk. That's very interesting. And it does relate to this, what I'm seeing. And I'll explain it. So we're going to end it right now. And we're going to reveal. So put your pens down and answers. It's salt. Now, here's you started listing, iron, and you started getting into some of the compounds that make up different salts and different textures, right? When you said you keep seeing a sidewalk, you're up the Northeast, aren't you?
Yeah, that's true.
What do they put on the sidewalk? Salt. So even though you think like, I didn't get the magic 8-ball and I didn't get it exactly like it is, this is what it is. It's you need, it's not grasping at straws. It's they're partial hits on the product. And you're getting closer. And again, we're just doing a really quick version of this. But this is something that you can play around if your kids are interested in it. Okay? You can go get a deck of cards, like some funny cards or whatever. These are all these, like, I love collecting tarot cards. I don't really do the tarot. I just think some of them are kind of cool. And just shuffle them up. Or psychic cards. I have a deck of psychic cards, and it tells you what you're picking up on. It may be an animal, it may be a color, it may be a shape, whatever. But you can do this. You can do this with a plain deck of cards, right? And you mix it up, and everybody gets dealt 3 cards. Everybody has a piece of paper and a pencil. One person holds the card up, and the rest of you focus in on it. Take a minute. And you start writing down. And they go, Dad, what did you see? Mom, what did you see? Brother, what did you see? Sister, what did you see? And then they turn it around. And you may be very, very surprised at what you're getting from it. Now, with a lot of people that are psychic, the psychic for our group, Cindy Dove, who's out in Arkansas, who's my Yoda, when she said, I have all these abilities, I said, well, I want to look into this without opening a Pandora's box. It was a Pandora's box. You just don't open up psychic abilities with it. It's a Pandora's box. And she knew it, but the more you do this, the more you practice this, the more you use your consciousness, your third eye. It's like any muscle, it gets stronger, and you're able to do it quicker. And over time, like when I go some places, every one of my senses is in play. Smell, touch, taste, feel, everything. It's really weird. It's like you get the metallic taste, or something salty, or oh my God, this tastes god awful, or it smells like seaweed, or and it relates to what you're seeing, because everything takes place in the mind's eye. So when I said to you, if you knew the number 42, and you can see it in your head, if I said stop, a stop sign, I know what they look like. I know they're usually red, white letters. That's how it is. and it just plays off. So when I do a focused, like remote viewing session for somebody to help somebody out, where I want to see something, and I'll try to give myself a date, like give me 0 to 6 months or 0 to 18 months. Show me what's going to take place in northeastern United States. And there's a big storm coming around March, and I see calendars now. And the more you do it, sometimes you may start getting a voice from a guide. So I saw a situation happen to somebody, and I said, well, I got to tell him. And all I heard was no. I heard not my voice. It was some other voice that said no. I said, please let me tell him. No. That means do not tell them. And I said, well, the hell with this. I'm going to go tell him. And I go to tell somebody something or whatever. Oh my God, the toilet's overflowing. So I have to stop doing what I'm doing and go fix the toilet. That's the universe saying, you're not allowed to tell them. They have to travel this path. Because we only learn by traveling down a path. Okay? If every day was, like Billy Madison, where you're getting drunk and high and sitting there and having a birthday party or whatever, you're not leaving your house. You're not doing anything. And you have to go about life on your path. And there are some, peaks and valleys. Like there's some good shit. Like, oh God, the fucking deer came out of nowhere. Yeah, the deer came out of nowhere here. But if the deer didn't, and you didn't have this path, because the guy that skirted the deer, guess what? He just skid down the road and went over a ravine. You understand? Mm-hmm. Not everything that happens to you is bad is really bad. Another thing is, this drives me nuts too. You've got to go from point A to point B. Like you're going to your in-laws' house. We're late. So you're like, I'll make up some time, right? Yeah. And you start driving not normal. You're more likely to have an accident, by the way. If you're late, you're fucking late. Okay? You're late to work? What's an extra 10 fucking minutes? That's it. Absolutely. Because the alternative is you're gonna have a problem. Or, and this is great, and this blew my, you're driving someplace, you're trying to get there quickly, and then you got that one person in front of you that's thinks it's Sunday in the fall, checking out the foliage, and you're like, you're ready, you're cursing at him, you mother, you, like whatever, you're cursing at him, right? Yeah. That is, in many ways, your guardian angel that you don't even know, preventing you from getting into trouble. Do you understand? That stopped you. And it could be a matter of 30 seconds or a minute or 10 minutes, that the difference between you having a life-ending situation or something bad and not. So I've learned a long time ago, you're late. Dude, I'm getting there. I'll be there. Right? Right. We're late to the party. Well, we'll get there. And it drives other people nuts, especially like your girl or whatever, or, your significant other. Like, you're always late and whatever. Like, we get here alive, right? We're good. Yeah. It's perspective, how you look at things. Mm-hmm. So it's very important, for you to go out and do it in certain ways. That's it. It's a lot of people. Supposedly everybody has guardian angels, and guides, and there's kind of there to protect you and help you out. And there's really weird ways that they do that without you knowing that they're doing it. Right. So before you get real all pissed off and angry, just remember this. When you're driving behind the slowest person on the planet, you're like, oh my God. That could be the difference between you getting into a really bad accident or having a problem or not. So just suck it up. You know what? Worst comes to worst, pull off the side of the road. Or it's the same thing as you're running out of the house to go someplace and you get in the car, you start it up, you're like, oh God, I forgot my keys, or I forgot my cigarettes, or I forgot whatever. So you have to get out of the car, go back into the house. Some people will tell you stay in your house for an extra 5 minutes because that little event was done so that you didn't get into trouble down the road. You understand?
Yeah, that's interesting. We were actually trying to head down to Massachusetts last weekend. I was doing
Massachusetts. Wait, you're going to Massachusetts?
yeah.
I'm joking.
I was going to a speaking event. I had to. It was my first like public speaking engagement. So we all got into the car, and then my son's like, "Are we actually leaving?" And I go, "Yes." Why do you think we're getting in the car? And he goes, I didn't wash my face or something. Like it was like something like minuscule, but he needed to do for some reason. I can't remember exactly what it was. So I put it in park, and I was like, "Fucking hurry up!" And he runs to the door,
Yeah.
and then he stands there, and I'm like, "What is he standing there for?" He needed me to unlock it because the door was unlocked, so I had to shut the car off, and then I had to go inside. And
Been there, done this.
Yeah, and I went back out to the car. I locked the door because I knew he wouldn't lock it if he was the last one out. So I get back in the car and I start it, and then I just kind of sit there and wait for him for. I think it was only like another like couple minutes, but who knows? Maybe that was something, one of those events you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's, like you said with the other person's friend, the friend you had, the mother was like, if he says don't go, don't go. If you got a bad feeling.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that mother had the same type of intuitiveness or gifts or somebody in the family, and they also like, oh, Uncle Fred's really weird, but Uncle Fred's been right the whole freaking time, right?
Yeah.
You know what? Something, oh, you're just a kid, you don't know. They do know. I'm not saying all the time, but sometimes you're in the paranormal field, right? And you do a lot of, when things like this happen, it's not just like, oh, it's just it's coincidence. There are no coincidences. Okay. Your son being younger is more open to these things, and he's in touch with things that are going on. And you are so busy being dad and like, well, I got to get him this and I got to do this, and that you kind of dull your radar, you dull your antenna, and you're not picking it up as much. But I'm sure there are moments like it's the classic moment of sitting downstairs and like, wait a minute, it's way too quiet. And you're like, it's way too quiet. And you go upstairs
all the time when he was little.
Yeah. And you're like, come on. Yeah. So that's your Spidey sense, and then the more you do these things and the more you're in tune with it, and the more I had a friend, he's long passed, and I'd walk over to his house when I was in the city from my house, which is like down the block, and we'd go hang out. So I'm like, oh, hey, dude, you ready? I'm like, yeah, let's go. So we were leaving, and he'd stop right by the front door. And he's like, yeah, we're going to go. And then he'd go, his mother was facing the sink in the kitchen away from him. So her back's there. And he's like, yeah, no, I'll be back later. Yeah, I know. I'll get it done. And I'm watching this, and he's like, oh, okay. And we'd go, and we get downstairs, and I'm like, Andy, did you just have a conversation with your mother? Yeah, I was just talking to her. I said, dude, your mother didn't say a fucking word. Not a sound came out of her mouth. They were communicating mentally. It was really, really weird. And that always played on me like, how the hell did, So that's why I always try to do that with my kids. Now, Again, seafoam green. No, red, orange, green, blue, yellow, purple, violet, whatever. You can do that. And you can do that with them. And it's a good thing to have because did you serve in the military?
I did not know.
You did not. There are people that serve with each other. They don't have to speak to each other to know what's going on. You're so connected.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they just know something's wrong and whatever. You start getting connected to your kids and they'll know like shit, he's in trouble. Like, how do you know? I just know. I know something's wrong. Mothers get that all the time. I don't know if it's because that the baby just, is growing within them and there's like a super connection there. Because let's face it, gentlemen, we're just sperm donors. That's what we do. We donate and like, thanks, they go through the whole, there's a binding there. And there seems to be a little bit more of a connection, with moms usually are like, no, something's wrong. And they're right.
Yeah.
It's
yeah. I will actually, I just literally finished watching Into the Fire on Netflix.
Okay.
It's a documentary on a missing girl from 1989. She was adopted, and the biological mother had all these feelings about where she was, and she's like, it was her adopted father, and she's buried in the backyard. So spoiler alert for anybody if if you haven't watched it, I apologize, but that's exactly where she was.
Yeah.
And they filmed it all. They started the documentary pretty early before the guy was ever even arrested. And she kept saying she would show up to their house, stand across the street with binoculars and be like, "There's this one spot in the back of their yard that is always changing."
Yeah. They know.
So yeah.
The psychic for our group will get messages for people if she passes in a supermarket or the beauty parlor or whatever. And she's like, I got a message for you. Now, that only happened to me once, which was really weird. It kind of unnerved me. And school down in Florida starts in August. That's like you people are insane. It ends early though, but it starts in August. So I had to take my kids. We had a place up in New York. They went up there for camp and they worked up there. And some of them went, one went as a camper, the other one was working. And my wife was working up there at the time. And so I took them down. This was 2 years ago. So we get down here. We do the trip from New York down to Florida. I make it like a 2-day trip because I just don't want to drive like 9,000 hours. I want to rest, go to Waffle House, get some eggs and some good bacon and whatever. And, so we get down here and we run out I think it was like the night before school was going to start. It was a Sunday. So I said, is there anything you guys, extra supplies you need for school? Because these teachers give 2 500-page reams of this. And I'm like, what am I buying for? What mini office is, whatever. So they said, we got to go to Five Below. So they went to Five Below and it was, getting late. And I said, well, let's go get something to eat. And we went to a restaurant down here. It's, not Flanagan's, some other, Irish type of, Mick restaurant or whatever it is. And when you go into the restaurant, you walk in, they're all the same. It doesn't matter if it's Harrigan's, Flanagan's, O'Toole's, whatever. It's all like that brownish wood like you saw in like a Fridays. There's a bar on one side and then there's tables on another. That's how it is. So when you walk in and you meet the girl that's going to seat you at the table, literally to the left is the bar area and to the right is the food area. And along the wall to the right are booths along that wall where all the windows are. So I can, you sit next to the window. And then they have these perpendicular rows. So we're there, we're eating. It's both my daughters and me. And I'm just wiped out. I'm tired. Tomorrow's the next day. I got to get up at my oldest had to go to school. Like, I have to be there at 5:30. I'm like, are you union or something? I don't know. It's Florida. I don't even ask questions anymore. It's like the fucking Bermuda Triangle down here. It's early when you see Jupiter out and like Saturn in the sky. It's like it's ridiculous. So we're sitting there, and our waitress comes down. Hey, how's it going? It's great. Thank you. Takes her order. She goes back in, and then one row over from her, there's another waitress, and this waitress comes in. And instantaneously, I get this image. This whole thing starts playing out in my head. It's late. I know it's late. It's about 2 a.m. And there's a guy at the bar with 5 o'clock shadow, a little Latino, pudgy. They go, no, don't worry, I'll take you. And she's like, well, I don't know, and she's like, I don't know. And I don't know if she knew the guy or not, but he's like, I'll take you. And the next image is literally her dead on the grass, blue in the face, blue lips. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And she walks out, and I'm like, first time ever. So I'm like, what the hell's going on? I think this girl's going to be dead. And I'm like, I've never experienced that before. I got to warn her. I mean, like, I'm a dad. I have 2 daughters. I got to warn her, don't take the ride. Because the guy that I saw in there is the guy and it's not the first time. I'm just sitting there, and I'm trying to, I can't even eat my food. My kid's like, are you all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. And I'm looking over, and it starts the whole thing, everything that played out. So I get up, and I'm like, I got to tell this woman, but I don't want to sound like a crazy person telling her. I've never done this before. So I called up a friend of mine, and I said, this is what happened. I got to tell her. I got to warn her to prevent her from getting, she can't take that ride. She's got to take an Uber or something. But I don't know how to do it. She goes, no, this happens to me all the time. And I'm like, really? I'm like, what do you mean this happens all the time? No, this is how you do it. And she says, you go up to her and you tell her that you're a medium and you have a caution for her. And I'm like, okay. And then you tell her, don't take any rides, take an Uber. Whatever you do, it doesn't matter who you know. If you're at the bar late at night or work, don't take any rides, take an Uber. And I said, okay, I'm a medium and I have a caution vision. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. And I'm sitting there like, I don't really want to get involved in this, because if this girl disappears, then I'm like somehow connected, because I saw what's going to take place. This is one of the reasons why one of my friends, Carl, who's a psychic, will not get involved in any type of case like this. Because the police will say, well, how did you know? You knew everything about this. Yeah, I had to, it came to me psychically. I had nothing to do with it, right? So I'm weighing out, but the dad in me said, no, if that was my daughter, I want her to know.
Yep.
So we go, I pay the bill, and I purposely walked up to the back because I was hoping she'd come out of the back, like, where they fill you up your sodas or whatever. Say, hey, and she didn't come out, I was about walking out, and then she started coming out. So I started walking right at her, and she's like, whoa, I'm like, hey, and I said it. I said, I'm a medium, and I had a caution vision for you. And I said, no matter what goes on in the bar, I don't care who it is, don't take that ride, call the Uber. And she was, for some reason today, kids today and people today are just like, they've heard so much crazy shit that's like, yeah, why not? She wasn't blown, taken back by it. She goes, what was that again? So I said, I have a caution vision for you. I'm a psychic, medium. If you're in the bar, no matter if it's here or another bar, and someone's telling you, like, I'll give you a ride, don't take the ride. Take the Uber. Okay? And she's like, yeah, okay, thanks. So I left. And I went home. I did this thing with St. Michael. There's a prayer online. I could send you the link to it. And what that does is it kind of detaches you from that connection. I'm getting a message, a connection, because I was given this vision to help this person, to prevent this from happening. This is what happens with psychics or whatever it is. And my friend's like, dude, you got to listen to this. Listen to it a couple of times. I did listen to it a couple of times and I felt great. I stopped thinking about it. The next day I woke up and, I wasn't freaked out or whatever. And I said, let me go look back into this using whatever I have. And girl wasn't passed away. It was at a picnic. She was at a party and handing out plates, and it was totally different. She was alive. She was well. She was happy. So purposely, I stayed the hell away from that restaurant for about 8 months. I'm like, whatever. And I happened to go there. I met somebody over there, a friend of ours. They went over there to get lunch or whatever. And she goes, you're the guy. And I'm like, excuse me? And I don't remember what she looked like. She's blondish, like everybody down in Florida is like blondish. So it could be because you're the one that told me not to take an Uber. I said, yeah. He goes, yeah, I did. Thank you. The guy was a little bit creepy. Yeah, I did. And I said, okay. Just remember that. Yeah. And so apparently, whatever was supposed to happen took place, and but I think the guy is this image of this guy, I can see him right now. This is his MO, and I think this is what he does. I think he's really dangerous.
Wait last minute.
He's done it before. Yeah. But I can't go to the police and tell him that because they'll be like, well, you're involved.
Okay, crazy.
Well, it does sound crazy. This is why some police departments actually do employ people that are psychic.
That's true.
They're known psychics, and they're really, really good at what they do. And others just say, oh, yeah, well, you knew it because you were part of it. It's just easier for them to close a case.
You're right.
That's why I don't even get involved in that type of stuff. I don't want to be part of it. And I literally started like, dude, don't do this to me again. I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
Another incident is I was home early, no kids. Like I was home for the day for whatever reason. I was working from home. I had that moment where I can actually sit down on a sofa and watch something I recorded, like Skinwalker Ranch episode or whatever it is. Nobody's going to bother me. Turn it down. No, I'm not going to turn it down. I want the surround sound of Skinwalker Ranch. And I'm about to sit down. And this is 4 years ago. And wife comes up and starts talking to me about, well, there's someone, it's, someone that works with her during the summer. It's her daughter. And she's got these headaches. And she had to go home early. She couldn't see out of her right eye. And without missing a beat, I said, she has MS, And she's like, no, she doesn't have MS. They went to the hospital. They did all the tests on it. I said, whatever. Okay. I want to watch this. Not to be rude. My moment, I want to watch it. So I go watch it. So fast forward at least a month, possibly 2. Another moment comes where I just recorded another show. I'm going to sit here and watch Oak Island or whatever the hell it was. And my wife comes over and she goes, how'd you know that? And I'm like, know what? I'm trying to watch a video. She goes, how'd you know that? I'm like, how'd I know what? I'm looking at my TV. She's over here. I'm like, what are you talking about? How'd you know? And I'm like, look, we go like this for like a couple of minutes. And I'm like, you come over to me and you tell me, how did I know? And I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I have no context. She goes, how'd you know that girl had MS? Because she does. And I said, if I told you, you wouldn't believe me. Because instantaneously it gets in there. And the more you do these, I call them stupid things, but these exercises, you do them with the kids, the more you'll be able to go and you'll start working that ability. Just like going to the gym, pumping iron, you'll start doing things. And yes, you can try to play the lottery with it, but it doesn't always work.
No.
at all. Yeah.
I had this weird encounter with my best friend's uncle when I was like 13. I was over his house, and I was coming out of their bathroom, and he was standing in the kitchen talking to my friend's mother. And as I'm walking by him, he like grabs me by like my bicep shoulder area, and he stops me and he goes, "Hey, don't do it." He's like, "You're gonna get in big trouble." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Just don't do it." And then he let me go. And I was like, "What the fuck was that?" So I went to my friend's room where I had come from, because we were playing video games. That's all we really did when we were in the house.
Yep.
We were playing Madden, whatever. And I walk in and I had this weird, my friend could tell that I had like a weird face on, and he's like, "What's up?" I'm like, "Your uncle just said some fucking weird shit to me." He's like, "What did he say?" He's like, "He told me don't do it, that I'll be in big trouble." And he goes, "Oh yeah, he's a seer." And I'm like, "What does that mean?" He's like a psychic or something like that.
Yeah.
He's the tribal medicine man, because they were part native.
That's freaking cool.
So it's weird because my buddy he's Jamaican, he's Irish, he's French, and he's native.
That is just wow.
Yeah. So anyways, so like a week later, I found myself in the precinct of my hometown with my hands cuffed behind my back because I decided to steal my dad's car. And while I was sitting there,
Don't do it, you'll get in big trouble.
I was cuffed to the bench, and I was like, "Oh, this is what he was talking about." Shit.
Yeah. Seers have been around forever. Shaman have been around forever. Medicine men have been around forever. Medicine woman. These people, oracles, have been consulted since the beginning of time. If you go back to the Old Testament, there are 10 tribes, and one of the tribes is specifically talks. They're like the seers and stuff. They're the ones that communicate with the source, heaven and earth. So they go to them. What do you think would happen? And they'll go look into it, and they'll say, no, this will be favorable. This is an alternative, whatever. It's been around, for forever, and everybody does have the ability to do it. It's just some people just don't want to waste their time doing it. But once you get in tune with stuff like this, it's really good when you do investigations. Like, case in point, every investigation actually, I was presenting at the PA Bigfoot camping weekend. I was going to do something totally out of the box for a lot of people, because everybody's talking about, there we were in the woods, and all of a sudden there was a grunt, and all these things. And I'm talking about an active intelligence encounter protocols that I came up with that will help you and everybody else have an interaction with a cryptid, an extraterrestrial, a ghost, what have you. And it's based on intention and sound frequency, vibration, resonance. So I was going this different route because I think that if we start using more of our God-given abilities, remember, God made man in his image. And again, when we say man, I'm not disparaging between male or men or women. It's just, it's men and women. You got one of our ribs, ladies, okay? You're part of us. So we're all, whatever. But part of that is, there are many faces or appearances to God, because there's many different appearances on earth. We're all his children. And you inherit certain gifts and abilities from your father and your mother. God created us. So naturally he would, put into you a built-in communication system that is a direct line to God. And that is where your pineal gland comes in. And there are like these two crystals in there, and it secretes DMT and other, molecules that help you connect and get rid of the BS that surrounds you, the lights, the cameras, the, like Facebook and the stuff that's stupid, and gets you to a point where you're like when you sleep, you are vibrating at a higher frequency and you connect to source. There's always a connection when you sleep, and it's really interesting. Have you ever had a moment when you're sleeping and you felt like you went on like a roller coaster and you're like your stomach dropped, or yeah?
Yeah, all the time. All the time. There's been times where I felt like I was falling and I would literally jump and I'd be laying in bed. And
Guess what? You are. What's happening is when you go to bed at night and you finally get into the sleep REM, and there's theta waves, there's alpha waves, and beta waves, right? When you really get into that and nothing is bothering you, and when you start having these really weird dreams, you're connected to source. This is where the downloads come. You upload your shit for the day and download stuff. Some people will remember it, some people won't. But what happens is part of you leaves your body. So that shuddering is you re-entering the physical body. So you were flying, but in a spiritual, soul-based essence of you. And when you reconnect into your body, it's that shudder, like going down an elevator or a roller coaster.
I had one maybe a month ago. It might have been a couple weeks ago. It was pretty recent, but I felt like I was falling. I don't know exactly like the circumstances. I can't remember that, but I had just got into bed, and it was the most violent jolt I've ever had out of all of these. And like literally the whole bed shook and everything. Like I was just like, holy fuck.
Well, I've had that. And you feel, because there are part of you, part of your consciousness is still connected. So it's kind of like, a great way to do it is, I don't know if everybody remembers slime. All these kids into slime. Can we make slime? Can we get some
oh my god.
My daughter was
ridiculous with that.
But
she's like, can I use your shaving cream so I can make some slime?
Yeah. How come you haven't shaved today, Kevin? Well, my kids were making slime, and that's why I only have one contact lens in, because I can't see out of the other one and have the stuff for it, right? So, this is my house. Like, oh, we can make banana slime. I'm like, can we stop making fucking slime? But when you pour something elastic and slime, it goes down, and then it stretches, right? And then eventually goes and it rejoins, down there. Same principle. So when you're asleep, you must see, you're definitely in tune with what's going on up there. It's just everything in life for you is a little bit, it's distracting. If you found a few moments just to sit there, and literally, it's so hard to do. The best way to do it is when you're, before coming home from work and before, whatever, shut your damn phone off. I mean, put it on like focus where nobody can get to you, and put a timer on 15 minutes, and close your eyes and just in through the nose, out through the mouth. And I like to look straight ahead in my mind's eye. You'll start seeing a pin. Looks like a little white dot. And then it'll start getting bigger and bigger, and just keep breathing in and out, focus on that. It's a meditation thing. You meditate for 15 minutes a day, you are going to open your whole world up to a lot of really cool things. You're going to know more. Your consciousness is going to help you, in the long run. First of all, you'll deal with a whole bunch of stress real quick. It'll be like, hopefully you don't steal anybody else's car. That would suck, but but the whole point is, if you're having that kind of violent jolt, do you remember your dreams a lot or your experiences?
No. what's interesting is there's this one dream that I remember that has stuck with me my entire life. I had it in like it was either 6th or 7th grade, and I don't really know the significance of it.
Right.
But I was playing like schoolyard football, two-hand touch football,
Right.
and I was going out for reception, and the ball's coming down. I catch it, and then I fall to the ground and curl up into a ball. Two kids come up and throw a blanket over me, and then like 5 of them form around me and go, Kevin, wake up. And then I remember waking up and my mom standing there just being like, Kevin, it's time for school, get up.
Really?
Like that's one dream that I have never forgot.
Well, I mean, it's because there's a bunch of kids around you, and you know, it's an event that you're going through. Some people, my other half doesn't remember her dreams. Not one bit.
Oh, there's another one that I remember too. That I think is more psychic driven. So I had just quit this tree job. It was utility line clearance.
Right.
And we were living in Massachusetts with my ex-wife's parents. We were living in the basement, and I had a dream. I woke up the next morning. I told my ex-wife about the dream. I was like, so we were in this line of trucks, and we were all trimming trees, and I was on the front. I came down, and I was standing on the top rack of the truck after I got out of the bucket, and I just kind of looked back and watched everybody for a second, and then got off the truck. I was like, I don't really know the significance of it, but I'm never going to work for that company again, because it was a specific company. And a few months later, I was working for that company, and I was gang trimming, so I was in front of 5 other trucks, and I came down out of the bucket, got out of the bucket, looked back, and was watching everybody else trim some trees, and I was like, whoa, deja vu. Which deja vu happens to me a lot, where I'm like, I feel like I've seen this before.
Yeah, it's not deja vu. You actually seen the shit before.
Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that dream specifically kind of solidified the deja vu stuff for me. I was like, I must have dreamt this or something when I feel those feelings.
Those are premonitions. Those are it's psychic abilities. You're seeing an event in the future. If you focus a little bit more on, because you know everybody has stress in their life, it's kind of hard to relax.
Yeah.
So the only time you're going to get relaxed is when you sleep. But you saw that in advance. You do have psychic abilities that are really good within you. And a lot of times when you fall down violently into your bed and you remember the shuddering, it's because you're supposed to know you're supposed to get a connection to it. You know, like it's like, I was in an elevator and I went down a roller coaster and I felt, no, you left your physical body, your consciousness leaves your physical body, you connected to source. There was an exchange of information that may or may not be known to you. It may be at a later date. That could be in form of remembering dreams. Okay. And there are 2 different things here. There are dreams and there are non-dreams, right? So there's reality. Okay. When in a dream, if you have a vague thing like, dude, I think it was Kevin and me, I don't know, they may have been in like a convertible. There was a bear, I think, you know, and you're whatever. It was really weird, or like, you know, versus it was Kevin. He came in, he was wearing, you know, the Timberlands. Looked like he'd just been working up on a tree, cutting it down. There was some sawdust in there. He came in and he told us, we need help, blah, 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 or whatever it is. And you get into the details of it. That isn't a dream. That is messages for you to remember and brought back to you.
Mm-hmm.
Big difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always say there's a dream and then there are experiences. If you remember every detail of that dream, you're really having an experience because you've did everything in there. And that's why you know it all. And I have those. I have 99% more experiences. I've had some crazy ones, and I talked about it once before, and one of them involved JC. And people just get so crazy about it. And I'm like, I know exactly what happened. I could describe it to a T. I could describe the Roman soldiers to a T. I can describe everything. I can smell it. And there's no way I was there. I was experienced something that I experienced, and I'm remembering every moment of it. Right? So that's happening to you. Now, if you can tap into it and you're really, really good at it, and you could always help people with it. Like, dude, someone can come up to you like, all right, this is what's going on. Can you help me? And then you can lament on it, think on it, and see it. Be like a reader of it. So it's kind of like watching a movie, what's going on. I had people come to me. I do readings for people. I do a lot of free stuff, and I have people that pay me. I'm got to be honest. If you're going to pay me, pay me. I mean, I make no bones about it. And I usually do a per hour thing, but I'm always like, 2 months later, dude, blah, 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 blah. I got messages for the people, and I'll just send them like, how'd you know that I was going to call you? I'm like, you can call me if you want. Here you go. Boom. I just keep giving a lot of stuff. I mean, I do a lot of stuff for free. I'm an idiot. I'm a nice guy. What can I tell you? Some people don't charge. Some people do charge. I'm like in the middle. 99.9% of the stuff I do. If I can help you, I'm going to help you. But there are people that want to pay me. I'm not going to turn that away. They pay me, but I also help them. So it's a win-win. And so here's the thing. I looked to, a lot of the people that contact me want to know about their love life and jobs and whatever. And everybody wants to know that. Yeah. And I start giving them information, and I start seeing it, and I can smell it. It's as if I'm watching it like on my TV set. I can see what's going to happen to you, the fight, what took place. And I don't want you to tell me anything. So when people come to me, like, if they come to me and they say, okay, tell me, I'm like, tell you what? I don't know who you are. You have to have a question. It has to be a question, when am I going to find love? What is my career path? I'm not that kind of psychic that's like, you eat too much dairy. You're like, it doesn't work that way. But if you said, I have, want to know about my love life and my finances, and I'll start telling them. And I tell them, and the first thing I tell them is the following. The future is fluid. It's not, it's 100% fluid. Okay, folks? So, and what happens is we talked about paths, right? If, for example, I said, oh, I see you holding a lottery ticket. I see you winning a lot of money, gambling or whatever, right? And it's, you're going to have a lot of money. You're holding the big check. You see it in all the lottery things and what have you. And I tell you this, and I said, sometimes I can get a date or around a date. They'll tell me, like, I'll say I can speak in my mind's eye, my consciousness, and I'll say, give me a time frame for this event, time frame. And what happens is I'll see like a February, March calendar together, and I'll see so I know it's around February, March. So the last week of February, first week of March. And sometimes they'll let me see 2024, 2027, whatever. So I'll say it's around this time. Here's the problem. This happens all the time. I told my friend, he was looking about his career. I told him X, Y, and Z, what was going to happen. I said, you're going to meet this girl. It's going to be a party, but don't sit on your ass, and you got to get out there and do what you normally would do. Okay? Because if you sit back and do nothing, it's not going to happen. And he literally sat back and kind of waited like this, arms folded. He's like, well, I didn't meet anybody. And I got messages for him, and I said, dude, I see you. And I said, you got to start working out again. You're really letting yourself go. You need help. You're struggling. The whole thing. I'm gonna give you a starting point. And I gave him a line because he's supposed to be writing. And I just texted it to him. He goes, holy shit, how did you? He goes, I was just thinking about this. I said, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. And because he did not travel his path, right? He didn't win the lottery because he went down the road and instead of going up, he just went straight, right? So we're traveling. One line goes this way, one line goes this way. But he got so complacent, he sat on his ass going, I'm going to hit the lottery. Well, how come I didn't hit the lottery? Did you go out and buy a fucking lottery ticket? No. How are you going to hit the lottery if you don't have one? Right? If every Friday you go back home and you stop at the gas station, you fill up with gas like a religious thing because you know you're going to be out with the kids on Saturday, and you always buy like $2 ticket and pack of smokes, 6-pack, and that's my Friday night. And if you don't continue to do the same thing you do as Friday night or whatever your path is, that other path, the other timeline that you're in, isn't going to cross it. So, you know, this is what people don't get. That's why when I told you earlier, if I see something happening to someone, which I have, and I hear no from the third party, and it's a really weird. Sometimes it's a female no. It's stern. It's like a parent no. And I'm like, but I need to because this person is important. No. I've learned that I can negotiate. Well, can I tell them that they're getting married? Yes. Okay. Can I tell them who they're going to, you know, can I tell them about the person they're going to marry? Describe them? No. Can I tell them their height? Yes. Can I tell them their hair color? Yes. I have to be specific because if you interfere with that path, they're not going to travel down that path. It's really bizarre, but this is how it works. It's the same principle. Let's go back to cryptids and Bigfoot, okay? 9 out of 10 times when you go on an investigation, you get shit. You get nothing. And depending on what time of year it is, you're either cold, wet, and damp. And you're just like, this sucked. Okay? Yeah. You know, because it's your paths aren't supposed to meet. But that one time that it does meet, I will guarantee you that most people that have that interaction with Bigfoot, I wish I could interview people that did. I would say, did you have any strange dreams prior to the event taking, you know, your interaction? I will guarantee you people have gotten dreams or precognitive type of dreams that alerted them. You're going to meet a Bigfoot. You're going to have an event and an encounter because your paths were gelling. They were like this. They were just about to go together. Right? It's just the way it is. I use remote viewing on an active intelligent encounter techniques where you have to set the intention of, I want to have an interaction with you, but I don't want me to get hurt or harmed, nor you. We just want to have an interaction. And then you send out that vibe into the universe, right? There's also sounds and frequencies and vibration and that we employ with it. I do this beforehand. If I know I'm going to a location in Manchester, right? I'm going to go up to, I don't know, the old military home on Route 7 up in, I think, you know, I forgot where part of Maine it is, just before you get to Bromley Mountain. Whatever. And that's my target, that old age home for I'm going to sit there and focus on it and try to do a remote view of the location beforehand. I do this all the time with Bigfoot. When I'm there, I kind of send out that vibe, like, we're not here to hurt you or harm you. And I try to get everybody to do it. Just send out a positive vibe so that they know they see and feel and hear on a different level than we do. They know that if you get out of your car and your intention is to cause harm, they know it. They'll disappear. They'll scatter because they can feel it. They can see your energy. People have auras, right? You know, that's supposed to be that light that, you know, that's your energy coming off of you. It's like a mood ring, dude. You don't want it to be black, okay? You don't want it to be black, you know. You want to see, like, you know, that sparkle or the blue or the healthy green or whatever it is. They know you're coming because you're now going from their end of the world, their universe and vibration and frequency level. And it's like, I know, up, look who just entered the room. I know Kevin's coming. I know the kids are coming. You know, okay, kid's a little bit scared. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to move away from them, but I'll keep my eye on him. You know, or if this other guy comes, there's a guy that I know that is an investigator of Bigfoot, and all he gives a shit about is fame and fortune. And he's talking about, like, well, no, I'm a real scientist, and, you know, I take this seriously. No, you're just interested in fame and fortune. You want to be the guy that is known as the guy that discovered Bigfoot or whatever. Mm-hmm. And because you got off the pure path of, like, I have questions that I want answers for, you ain't going to get much from it. You're just not. You know, it's just what it is. You know, I have numerous encounters. We did, are you in Mass, or are you up in the down under? I mean, downstate, as they, you know,
southern Maine, yeah.
Down east. I love that.
Down
Can't
east.
get there from here. So, you know, do you have? I think there are some of them. Stone chambers in Maine, southern Maine. I think they're in New Hampshire because that's where Dennis Stone's American Stonehenge is. I think we talked about that last time a little bit. They're these stone chambers. When you drive through New York State into New England.
Yeah.
And they're like, you see all those stone walls and stuff.
Yes.
And everybody's like,
yes.
Those are old farmers' properties. Not all of them. Those are like ley lines. It's a path for you to follow. But they used to make these stone chambers with giant stones, like, you know, a couple of ton stones, and a vaulted room. And people, you know, some people like, oh, it's a root cellar. In a root cellar, if it's celestially aligned and there's a magnetic anomaly around it and weird shit happens to it, there's more than just being a root cellar there. Okay. So we had them a lot in New York State, and I brought one of my friends in. He came back to New York. He's a trans psychic medium, trans channel psychic medium. I think that's it. His name is Riz. And, you know, he wanted to go, and he was on like vacation, but he was videotaping everything so he can kind of, you know, write it off as a business expense, you know. And he was with his wife, who's an empath. He's a psychic. So I said, you know, you got to go to the Stone Chambers. I've had Bigfoot encounters there, UFOs. The craziest thing is during COVID, we went there with my wife and two kids. My oldest went off with her mom, and I told my youngest, hey, and I took a picture of her, and she did the pose. You know, like, one of them is a little more posy than, you know, your kids. If you have two of them, one's a little bit more like, you know, that's my ride and die, and that's my lawyer. You know, it's two different versions of it. So on her finger in the photo is a fairy. A fairy appeared. And I mean, I'll send it to you, and then you could put it up at this point if you want.
Yes.
No shit.
Yeah.
It's so I took him to that area, and I took him to this stone chamber. Now in the stone chamber, I've been there with a partner of mine in the paranormal, and we'd go in with all the different detecting equipment, and we went to, are you Egyptian? Are you Scottish? Are you Nordic? You know, on the the K2 meters. And when we said, are you Phoenician? And the thing went, it lit up. And the strangest thing, we started asking more questions about the Phoenicians. Did you come here? You know, and it would make some movement. It was weird. On one of the cameras we had, we heard like a drumming pattern, right? Like a heartbeat, like a drum. Boom. It was as if natives, you know, indigenous, were having a powwow. It's the strangest thing in the world. So I told this to Riz, and I told him about the Bigfoot I've seen there. So we went there, and he did this trans medium channeling thing while we were in there with this guy Kepler, which was an incredible experience because it validated some things. I was never really big on channels because I can close my eyes and change my voice too, right?
Yeah.
I'm the great ragu. Yes, I make pasta. Hooah, whatever. you know what I'm saying? It's bullshit, right? Here's the thing. Riz is on my right side. His wife is on my left. Riz is playing an A chord frequency out of his phone. I have the Tibetan singing bowls, and it's same A chord. We start doing some ohms, and in my fucking head, I see he starts channeling somebody. His voice changes, and there's someone named Kepler there. And I see in my mind's eye, I see what looks like an Asian type of individual, very thin, wearing the Buddhist monk type of robe. And I see them keep throwing something behind them. And I've seen this before, like the robe is slipping, so he's tightening it up, throwing behind him. He's in shadow. Like you can kind of see him, and he looks a little bit Asian. He's very thin, and he's sitting there crisscrossed on the floor and just, throwing this fabric behind him. Now behind him that's lit up is a pyramid. Not like this, it's the reverse. So the top line is straight across, and then it comes down to a point. And in that pyramid, I start getting flashes of different things. And I get the spiral galaxy come in, and within 30 seconds of the spiral galaxy appearing, Riz, separate from me, goes, life is like a spiral. And he starts talking about a spiral. And then before it happens, I'm seeing it, and then Riz is talking about it. I said, can you please let me see your face mentally? And it lightened up around him. And this gentleman went from, his face changed to every different configuration and color of race on this planet. It went from Chinese to Korean to Asian to Indian to African to indigenous, everything. It just started morphing. And then it went away. I said, thank you very much. And at the last, all these different events are playing out. And I'm talking about spiral galaxies and time, space, and traveling down a path. And at the end of it, when Kepler said he was leaving, and he gave me a message, and I got to be honest, I have to watch the video again for the message because I don't know what the hell he said. I was just like, all right, maybe this channeling isn't bullshit, because I'm getting it prior to him saying it, and it's gelling, right? At the last moment of that, the light comes in and it shines down on him. It's like an internal light in this, looks like a rock cave where we are. And it zooms into the figure that's sitting there. The figure is my face as an old man. And I'm gray over here. My beard is gray. I got some wrinkles. I'm sitting there. And then my face morphs into my father's face as an old man. And it's all over.
Whoa.
And I was just like, I'm sitting there going, this would have been so much better if I continued to smoke weed a long time ago. But I mean, it blew me away. We had a conversation in there about it. He did a video. I'll send you a link to it. You can watch, because we went to certain places on it, and you can go to the Stone Chamber. They're talking about Bigfoot and whatever. And it really changed my view of what was going on. Look, I don't want to disparage anybody. I mean, I've seen some of these guys. I've seen Bashir, and I'm like, yeah, I could do that. I'm a good actor. I can do that. And if you're in touch, if you're in touch enough with these subject matters and you've heard enough stories, you can concoct your own Bigfoot story, Loch Ness Monster, whatever you want. You know? And there are plenty of people that are bullshit out there. So but the fact that it was gelling with what I was seeing prior to, literally within a couple of seconds prior to him saying something, and we're not in communication. It's not a project. This is playing out in your mind. It was bizarre, but that was crazy. What was even more crazy is a couple weeks go by, and my buddy up in New York, he says, someone contacted me. They want to go to the Stone Chambers. I said, okay, I was just there, but we'll go. So we went to 3 Stone Chambers, and, you know, I didn't feel, you know, there wasn't anything strange in any one of them. And we went back to the Stone Chamber where I had my experience with Riz, and we did a day-night thing. So we did it during the day, and at night, this person left and went back to New York City. We went back to the same Stone Chamber. And my buddy was trying to do some experiment there with a pendulum, you know, and hook it up to the tripod and whatever. We're there about 11 o'clock at night, and there was something ginormous walking in the woods. And I went from the Stone Chamber investigation to, see you later, buddy. And I mean, a bipedal cryptid, and I've had an experience with them there. And hopefully, I have it on a night scope type of thing, but I haven't literally looked at it because, you know, being New York, come down to Florida and all this crap happening. But I went from doing that Stone Chamber moment to, yeah, that's good with your experiments. There's a Bigfoot out here. I want to catch this shit on camera. So it's a great area. Sorry if I talk too long.
I'm gonna have to get out there. Oh man. So I'm gonna have to end this now. I got a text message. My daughter needs me. So. But man, this was awesome. This was an awesome chat, man. I appreciate your not only your stories, but you going through the cards with me. That was amazing.
I'll tell you what, if you want to, and I don't remember. I mean, if you, I'm be more than happy to come back on, and I'm always honored to be asked. So please, anytime, like a couple months from or whatever, remember the remote viewing thing. Say, let's try the remote viewing thing, and I'll really set it up, and we'll go through the whole thing. And then we'll see, and then have your audience, you know, say, hey, yeah, you know, have them post in your YouTube, like, dude, I saw this, this, and this, you know, and also practice that with your kids. Yeah. Another thing you can practice. Yeah.
What we can do, because of what I meant to do, I was trying to do live on Patreon the other day, and it didn't work out very well. Right. So for everybody in the Patreon, if they're interested in doing like what we just did, they can get the link to the audience to the Riverside, and they can come in here and be in the audience and watch as we go through it, and they can comment in real time.
So I will. What I'll do is I could use either pictures from a magazine, and I won't look. I'll just select pictures, or these cards, and you'd need a piece of paper, a pen, so you can jot down your feelings and what you're seeing, write it down, and we just need to. It's like a minute. You know, take about a minute to kind of focus and meditate on what you think it is. Don't think about it. Just write it down, and then we reveal, and then we'll go through it, and you'll see how quickly people like, oh my God, I was pretty close. We had, well, I'll give you an example. I did it on another show. I showed a castle in Germany by the Rhine River, and it was these guys out of, I think, Michigan UFO, and his wife said, I saw a woman falling from the castle and another man maybe pushing her or whatever. The next day after that, on the news report, they arrested a guy, serial killer, who was throwing women's bodies off the exact castle I picked out, and his wife picked it up on it. Yeah. Whoa. It was really bizarre. Yeah, it was great. It works, I'm telling you. And another thing you can do is, let's say you have you're going to Massachusetts, right? It takes you 2 hours from Southern Maine, wherever you're going, near Boston, right?
Yeah.
Say in your head, we're going to do it in an hour and a half. I want to do this in an hour and a half. And do that and watch. And it's not going to happen all the time. You'll do it in an hour and a half. It'll cut off a half an hour of your time. It's the weirdest thing. You can manipulate things. But go do your thing with the text. I thank you for having me on.
Thanks for being here, man.
Fatality.
We'll end it there.
All right, guys, that is the. Please follow, share, subscribe, leave a review. I'd greatly appreciate it. If your podcast doesn't let you leave a review on the website, where the weird ones are, podcast.com. That's where you can get the merch. That's where you can get the hot sauce. And I love you all. Thanks for being here. Thanks for Bryan for giving us his time, because time is our greatest currency, and the fact that you came on tonight means the world to me. So
I appreciate that. I appreciate you.
Question everything. And stay weird.
Yes.
This concludes our broadcast day. Click.
Because in the end, none of us have very long on this earth. Life is fleeting. And if you're ever distressed, cast your eyes to the summer sky, when the stars are strung across the velvety night, and when a shooting star streaks through the blackness, turning night into day. Make a wish.